Really cool. Hey y'all, it's Karma. Karma Toast, guys. Just leave the room. Thank you. I'll be right with you. I've been saying this now. How many videos do I have to say that we're not humans? Okay. Let's do this. Finally someone gets it. Someone gets it. Thank you, Cal. Thank you. Someone actually gets it. We're not humans. We're goddesses. Gods and goddesses. The chosen ones.
If you are hearing these words, it isn't random. There is a reason you paused here while others kept scrolling. Something in you has been quietly waiting, almost aching for a confirmation you couldn't name. Proof that your life is not an accident and your sensitivity is not a flaw. Deep down, you have always sensed it. You don't fit the pattern of this world because you were never designed by it. You were set apart by God. And when the set apart reach a certain threshold of awareness, heaven begins to draw near in ways that feel like being noticed, seen, even observed. It doesn't come with flashing lights or dramatic music. It arrives like a weighty stillness, a holy clarity that whispers, "This is your moment." Perhaps you've carried an unshakable restlessness. Rooms feel too small for your spirit. Conversations skim the surface while your heart longs for depth, and the path everyone celebrates looks strangely empty to you. You've tried to shrink to belong.
When you're building on social media, you don't own that. You're building on rented land, and that rented land could...
You've tried to shrink to belong, soften your convictions to avoid conflict and numb your compassion so it won't hurt as much. But nothing quiets the truth. Your heart was formed to carry what this age has forgotten. Presence, purity, mercy, and authority rooted in God. When those qualities begin to awaken, you feel watched, but not by critics or algorithms. You feel watched by purpose. Heaven is taking attendance and your name is being called. Let's name the wound before we offer the remedy. Being chosen often looks like being misunderstood. You loved deeply and were told it was too much. You stayed loyal and were told you were naive. You followed quiet instructions from God, and people questioned your motives. You gave generously and found yourself empty in rooms where others never noticed your thirst. It can make you wonder if you should toughen up, blend in, or switch off the part of you that feels everything. But that ache is not a defect, it is a compass. The pressure you face is not punishment, it is proof of assignment. Resistance gathers around what heaven has marked as necessary. Here is the shift. You are not here to imitate the world's rhythm. You are here to carry God's heartbeat into it. When you align with that truth, something changes at the root of your life. Your focus stops chasing approval and starts listening for instruction. Your atmosphere steadies. Your voice gains weight. You begin to live as if your decisions echo beyond the room you're in, because they do. This is what maturation in God feels like. Not louder or flashier, but clearer and truer. Less performance, more presence. Less panic, more peace, and yes, there is a cost. The chosen pay it in private, turning away from counterfeit assignments, declining invitations that require you to dim your light, waiting on God when shortcuts look tempting. But there is also a promise. When you stop trading your calling for comfort, the presence of God begins to meet you with unmistakable precision. Doors open that hustle could never force. Timings align that planning could never manufacture. Strength returns where weariness lived. You discover that the safest place on earth is obedience. So here is our simple, sacred agreement at the start of this journey. If your spirit bears witness, if something in you knows this is your word, do two things right now as a sign of alignment. Comment 111 below. It's a simple declaration that you're stepping into divine alignment. One God, one purpose, one clear path. It marks the moment you stop scattering your energy and choose holy focus. Subscribe now so you don't drift back into the noise. Stay close to a space that will keep your calling awake and your courage strong. This will not be motivational noise. It will be a path. In the minutes ahead, we will map why you never fit the world's pattern, why resistance has shadowed your steps, how to walk in places you don't belong without being swallowed by them.
Honestly, that's what we told you. We don't give in, we don't give up, we give it all to God. And we don't fall victim to issue. We're the ultimate rebels. Nothing can brainwash or control us. We can see through the lies and the bullshit.
daily keys that keep
There's one species you can't fool. The choke ones. These are quiet. We see modesty. It's cold as shit outside, so. See the light. See, that's why you're hiding it. Come on. See the light? See, it's like the short aura. Like this heavenly, like, not heavenly, but just like.
your spirit unbreakable. By the end, you won't just feel inspired. You'll be commissioned, clear about who you are, grounded in whose you are, and ready to move with a steadiness that does not depend on circumstances. Take a breath. You've waited a long time to hear what you're about to hear. The noise is fading. The call is getting louder. And the moment you choose to agree with God about who you are, the ground beneath your life begins to shift. Welcome. Let's begin. You have felt it since childhood. A quiet divergence that no environment could sand down. Rooms that felt alive for others felt airless to you. Conversations everyone called enough left you hungry. Paths that promised safety looked strangely narrow when you stood at their entrance. You assumed it was immaturity or stubbornness. With time, you tried to file your edges, to soften your convictions, to mimic the cadence of the crowd. But the more you imitated, the more a holy friction rose inside you. That friction was not rebellion, it was revelation. God did not design you to fit a pattern he never authored. He set you apart, and separation always feels like misfit until it is named as calling. 2. Be chosen does not mean better than, it means entrusted with. God entrusted you with a different interior, one calibrated to respond to his presence faster than it responds to pressure. Where others require proof before they move, you are built to move when he speaks. That sensitivity has been your ache and your advantage. It makes you feel too much in casual settings, but it becomes holy precision when you are near the broken, the overlooked, the almost quitters of this age. You read atmospheres the way others read headlines. You notice what is out of place, what is unsaid, what is about to unravel. That is not anxiety. It is assignment. The watchman's burden lives in your chest. Consider how your conscience reacts to compromise. Even in small matters, your spirit will not let you rest. You try to excuse it. Everyone does this. It isn't a big deal. Yet something in you flares as if the smallest choice were a hinge on which a larger future swings. That overreaction is actually correct calibration. The chosen are trained in inches because they will be trusted with miles. God refines your private choices because your public influence will multiply them. What looks like high maintenance to the world is simply heaven's way of establishing stamina and honor in you, long before the platform.
Next stop, Cleveland and Morse.
Or the pressure arrives. This is why your heart breaks in unusual places. You grieve the throwaway comment no one else heard. You notice the person at the edge of the room and cannot leave them unseen. You feel the fatigue beneath someone's smile and carry it with you like intercession you never planned to pray. It has felt costly, even unfair. Why must you feel so much? Because love without weight cannot hold a generation. The tenderness you tried to mute is the very instrument God tunes to carry his compassion. When you attempted to harden, you did not become stronger. You merely grew quieter, dimmer, less like yourself. And still the ache returned because suppression is not stewardship. God is not asking you to feel less. He is teaching you to carry what you feel with wisdom and authority. Your difference is not random temperament. It is engineered theology. Before your first breath, God inscribed into your inner life a set of holy preferences. Truth over convenience, presence over performance, fidelity over applause. Those preferences can make you look slow in a culture obsessed with speed, conservative in a climate that rewards spectacle, and stubborn in a world that prizes flexibility over faithfulness. Yet the more you honor them, the more your life aligns. Peace returns, clarity sharpens, strength rises where you once felt scattered. You begin to recognize that what you called personality quirks are actually guardrails keeping you from exits that do not lead where you were born to go. Of course, the enemy has studied this. He cannot steal your design, so he tries to distort your interpretation of it. He whispers that sensitivity is weakness, that conviction is arrogance, that solitude is failure, that long obedience is naivete. He will place you in mismatched rooms and ask why you feel wrong. He will crowd you with noise and then mock you for needing silence. But listen closely. Every accusation reveals what he fears. He fears your tenderness because it heals. He fears your endurance because it outlasts his pressure. He fears your clarity because it exposes counterfeits. He fears your worship because it relocates authority in every room you enter. Identity, then, is not a slogan to recite when you are discouraged. It is a structure you inhabit. To live as chosen is to adopt the architecture of heaven for your ordinary days. It looks like deliberate mornings where you gather your attention before the world scatters it. It looks like disciplined speech, where your words build scaffolding for people rather than gossip that pulls them apart. It looks like consecrated boundaries, where you choose fewer rooms so that your presence has more weight inside them. It looks like secret history with God. Hours no one sees, tears no one applauds, obedience no algorithm rewards. Those hours are not wasted time. They are poured foundations. Without them, the first wind will move you. With them, storms become teachers rather than tyrants. There is a reason praise from certain circles never satisfies you. Your spirit knows that applause can be counterfeit evidence. Approval can confirm conformity, just as easily as it can affirm calling. The chosen learn to measure success by alignment, not attention, by whether God's presence is welcomed through their life, not whether their name is trending.
Cleveland and Cook.
Welcomed through their life, not whether their name is trending. This is why you often feel invisible while being faithful. Heaven is hiding you on purpose, building roots before branches. When the time comes, your fruit will be undeniable. But for now, God is protecting you from harvests your character is still learning to carry. So let us settle this. You are not inconveniently intense. You are intentionally set apart. You are not too serious. You are rightly sober in an hour that trivializes the sacred. You are not behind. You are being prepared. When you feel the tension rise in your chest, the pressure to quiet down, speed up, dilute your convictions to match the room, pause and remember, you did not come to echo. You came to embody. You will not always be understood. You will not always be applauded, but you will be anchored. And anchored souls build things that last. From this point forward, speak to yourself as one entrusted, not as one excused. Guard your inner life as if other lives depend on it, because they do. Refuse the cheap relief of fitting in when you were fashioned to stand firm. Let the Spirit teach you where to pour and where to pass, when to be silent and when to sound the alarm. You are not an accident of temperament. You are a deliberate answer to a deficit in your generation. Your identity is not a costume you put on in public. It is the breath in your lungs when no one is watching. This is why you never fit. This is what God placed in you, and this is the ground on which everything that follows will stand. There is a pattern you have lived long enough to notice. The moment you decide to walk in what is true, pressure rises.
Next stop, Cleveland and Boyd, Northern Light Shopping Center.
From what is common. Invitations dry up, misunderstandings multiply, and rooms that once felt familiar start to feel foreign. You take it personally at first, what did I do wrong? But the longer you remain honest before God, the clearer it becomes that you did not do something wrong. You finally did something right. Light does not argue with darkness. It simply arrives, and everything that relies on shadows must either adjust or resist. Your life is that arrival. Your separation is not snobbery. It is spiritual physics. The world, as a system, rewards sameness. It thrives. rhythms that can be predicted, values that can be priced, affections that can be purchased. When a chosen one enters that system with a non-negotiable center, presence over performance, truth over trend, assignment over ambition, the math of the room changes. You become the variable that cannot be controlled. People who were comfortable will feel exposed by your clarity. People who were entertained will feel interrupted by your conviction. They will call your devotion extreme because it confronts their apathy without a single word. They will name your boundaries pride, because those boundaries refuse to fund their chaos. None of that is evidence that you are unloving. It is evidence that you are finally loving rightly. Think about the subtle ways resistance disguises itself. It shows up as opportunities that require you to mute your conscience just this once. It comes as jokes that make light of what God has asked you to carry with weight. It arrives as compliments that push you toward platforms your character is not yet assigned to steward. It pretends to be camaraderie when in fact it is a quiet pressure to dilute. And when you decline, when you step back, take your time, ask God again, the temperature shifts. Smiles tighten. Group chats grow silent. You are told you are difficult, dramatic, overly spiritual. Do not swallow those verdicts. Examine them. Very often they are not discernment. They are discomfort naming itself as wisdom. Separation is not isolation for isolation's sake. It is consecration, the deliberate choice to keep your heart near what keeps you whole. You are not leaving people behind to feel superior. You are refusing to abandon the presence that made you sane. The chosen are not allergic to rooms. They are loyal to altars. If a room requires you to trade the altar for acceptance, it is too expensive, no matter how glittering the prize. Your refusal will cost you temporary warmth, yes, but it will purchase a steadiness you cannot fake. And that steadiness is precisely what God uses when storms move in, and everyone else is searching for a voice that is not rattled by the wind. Notice how resistance escalates when you stop negotiating your identity. The invitations become louder, the shortcuts more attractive, the narratives about you more creative. This is not because you have become a villain. It is because a spirit of compromise is losing a customer. Hell does not mind you believing in God so long as you keep your calendar for sale. But the moment your time, your words, your attention, and your affections answer to one voice, you become inconvenient to systems that profit from your distraction. You suddenly don't fit the culture, not because you cannot adapt, but because you will not kneel. That refusal is not arrogance. It is survival. You are protecting the very lamp God lit inside you. There is another dimension to this resistance. Your presence awakens hunger in people who are pretending not to be hungry. They have learned to live on spiritual crumbs, to make peace with a life that is busy enough to drown out the ache. Then you arrive, quiet, clear, anchored, and something in them remembers. They will not always thank you for that remembering. Sometimes they will resent you because remembering makes pretending harder. Be gentle anyway. Your assignment is not to win every argument. It is to remain a living invitation. Judgment pushes people deeper into hiding. Holiness invites them into the light without humiliation. Your steadiness can be a doorway if you refuse to turn it into a stage. Some of your loneliness, then, is not punishment.
Stop requested.
It is provision. God has set you apart to set things right. And there are seasons where the only way to keep you aligned is to simplify your circle. He prunes noise so that you can hear nuance. He subtracts hurry so that you can recover holy pace. He limits the crowd so that the right companions can find you, people who do not require you to shrink, who do not treat your convictions as curiosities, who do not panic when you stop performing and start listening. The chosen are not meant to travel alone forever, but they are often asked to begin that way, so that when partnership comes, it meets you whole rather than desperate. Understand? 2, that separation will refine your speech. The more clearly you know who you are, the less you need to explain it. You will find yourself withdrawing from debates that cannot bear fruit, letting rumors die of neglect, allowing misunderstanding to be a tax you pay for clarity. This is not passivity. It is discipline. You are learning to spend words where they build, not where they bargain. You are learning that God defends what He designs, and that your best apologetic is your consistency. Keep showing up. Keep choosing the narrow path in private.
Keep blessing those who misread you.
Over time, integrity writes paragraphs no accusation can erase. The world will keep trying to sell you back your belonging at the cost of your birthright. It will offer you seats if you silence your song, visibility if you surrender your voice, comfort if you cancel your consecration. Decline with kindness, smile with freedom. Remember that you are not homeless. You are housed in presence. You are not missing out. You are being made. You are not too different. You are finally distinct enough to be useful. Resistance is not the headline of your story. It is the backdrop against which obedience shines. One day, sooner than you think. The very places that resisted you will require what only your separation preserved. Rooms that said, "You're too much," will ask, "How did you remain?"
Requested.
People who dismissed your pacing will seek your counsel for endurance. Systems that mocked your guardrails will hire your wisdom to rebuild what collapse exposed. When that day comes, do not gloat. Do not say, "I told you so." Say, "Come and see." Lead them where you learn to stand. Show them the altar that saved your life. Invite them into the presence that taught you to live untangled. This is why resistance follows you. Not because you are wrong for the world, but because you are right for its healing. Separation is
Stop requested.
not rejection. It is readiness. Keep your oil.
Next
Guard your flame. You were set apart to set others free. There is a reason your tears have not been wasted and your nights have not been ignored. In the language of heaven, pain is not a verdict. It is a forge. The chosen are not mass-produced. They are hand-finished in heat that lesser metals cannot bear. When the pressure rose and you felt abandoned by those you once trusted, it was not evidence that God had stepped back. It was evidence that He had stepped in closer than breath, turning up a refining fire that burns away what cannot carry destiny and preserves what must. Refining fire that burns away what cannot carry destiny and preserves what must. What felt like breaking was, in truth, separating. Gold from alloy, assignment from appetite, truth from the tremor of people-pleasing. Think back with holy honesty. The betrayal that stunned you taught you to hear God over praise. The delay that exhausted you taught you to walk by conviction, not by calendar. The door that slammed in your face taught you that favor is not a hallway of human yeses. It is an atmosphere God creates around an obedient life. You did not know it then, but every loss was loosening you from props you could no longer afford to lean on. The fire was not sent to make you smaller. It was sent to make you solid, so that when God places weight upon your shoulders, your structure does not crack under the testimony you will carry. Pain has another holy assignment. It cleans your sight. You now recognize counterfeits sooner, not because you are cynical, but because you are healed. You discern manipulation in honeyed words because you remember what it cost you to ignore warning bells last time. You feel atmospheres shift before conversations start because your spirit has learned the difference between peace and performance. This is not paranoia, it is stewardship. God has entrusted you with a sensitivity that protects the oil on your life.
What's different when you're when you're getting school, betrayal, such a moment. When you're like this, being fake, backstabber, fuck people, that's not paranoia. Or they don't trust you. So define paranoia. Define it. If you worship the paranoia, it's two different things. That part.
And that sensitivity was sharpened in the very valleys you begged to escape. Do not misread the fire as a failure of prayers. The furnace is often God's answer to prayers you did not know how to pray. Make me whole. Make me wise. Make me usable. Wholeness requires heat to seal what was cracked. Wisdom requires heat to expose what was hidden. Usefulness requires heat to shape you for the grip of his hand. And because the chosen are called to carry hope into hostile places, your preparation could not be painless. Easy seasons do not produce unshakable saints.
You're okay, honey. I got you. There you go. Right just fine.
Okay, I would appreciate it though.
No, you're good. You're good right there. I just had a blanket and a pillow here.
Oh, okay, no worries. Sorry.
Is that fucking this fat ass? What the? Fat ass Who's 16?
Seats.
He said he's for 26. He's out of shit. He said fucking excuse me, goddamn. That was fucking suspected. It's fucking monsters.
They produce delicate ones. You were never meant to be delicate. You were fashioned to be durable, with tenderness intact. There is a paradox in holy refinement that only the chosen understand. You become softer and stronger at the same time. Softer toward people, because you remember what pain feels like.
Almost 2012 2025, interesting. I only saw
Stronger toward darkness because you remember who rescued you from it. Mercy and backbone grow together in the fire. You can hold boundaries without bitterness. You can forgive without reopening access. You can bless those who cursed you while refusing to fund their chaos again. This is maturity. Not meanness. This is love with a spine. Let us name the lie that tries to haunt refined ones. If you were truly chosen, it wouldn't hurt this much. The truth is the reverse. The degree of your warfare often mirrors the degree of your usefulness. Hell does not waste artillery on ornaments. It spends it on instruments. The onslaught against your mind, the relentless suggestion.
Next stop, Cleveland and Fifth.
This is life. More souls things, the heavenlies. The less souls things, the heavenlies.
To quit, the coordinated misunderstandings. These were not random. They were a last-ditch effort to keep you from realizing that survival has already become stewardship. You did not just make it out, you learned how to guide others out with you. Refinement also reorganizes your pace. In the old days, you responded to pressure with hurry, afraid you would...
Yeah, corn, your cord.
Alright, let's go. Okay.
Well, let's go Jennifer. You only catch 12 months all the way there? Depends on how long you're there. That's why I think. Yeah, I'm guessing you're gonna have to pay to come back.
Next stop, Cleveland and 2nd.
Just come back to me. I just gotta keep that in my apartment, my house. I got laid off work. Guy lives in this beginning of the job.
First they left, then they copied. That's the point of this whole thing.
Yeah, I was doing. I'm from a meeting right now where they might be able to give us
Next stop, 631 Cleveland.
Miss what was meant for you. After the fire, you respond to pressure with presence. You have learned that what God authors, God sustains. What He assigns, He aligns. You walk slower on purpose now, not from fatigue, but from fidelity. You are finished with proving. You are finished with performing. You are finished with sprinting for rooms you no longer need. That settledness will look like stubbornness to anxious people. Bless them and keep moving. You are keeping rhythm with a different metronome. Listen, your scars are not liability.